Hi, this is Rob Kohr, and I'm back again this week showing you a little bit of my short film Once and Never Again. As you can see on the screen right now, I'm showing you the clip that I'm showing you, which is the clip preceding last week's, which was the tendril of water wrapping around the girl, and this one is her getting sucked into a manhole. Actually, one of the other things I'm considering is changing the name, considering changing it to the lift at this point, as opposed to Once and Never Again. Originally it was called Automatic Doors, but I'm starting to like the lift more. Though I've been informed that that's the name of a British horror film. Maybe I'm wrong. Anyway, as you'll see on your screen now, this is the original animatic. Let me play it back. And that's her getting sucked into the hole. And then what I did after that was clean that up, cleaned up the background, and then added the girl in, and some water animation. And then that's the animation for that. Now the background isn't final, so what I did is I had to finish the background first. So as you'll see over here, you can see the finished animation, the finished 3D file. This program is Blender. It's an open source 3D application. And down here is an upper view of it. And let me switch back into Flash. And what I did is I did the animation of the girl, cleaned it up, and then you'll see I laid in an image in the background so I can line up the animation of the water over the background. Now masking in this shot isn't necessary at the moment because that's going to be done in After Effects. Also, Flash is not known for handling bitmaps well, so I just guide out the bitmap, so all you end up seeing is just the water and the girl. Now when I export this, I export each layer separately. So the girl is one layer, the shadow is one layer, which I blur, and then the water is another layer, which I apply different effects. And I guide each one out and then export each one as a PNG sequence. Here, I'll show you. Organization is very important when you are working in animation. You need to make sure that you have all your files properly labeled, and every file has a different name associated with that file, so that when you need to search for stuff, it's easy to search for. So here are the PNG sequences. And after that, then we take the CG and the Flash file and we bring that into After Effects. And this is the more finished look. Let me scale it back a little bit. So this is the original background, and then I wanted to apply a little bit of a fake blur on it, so I created a mask, as you can see. Let's go out to 50%, 100, fit it. And I wanted to do a little bit of a focus, blur out the background a little bit, so I created a mask and put a blur on it. And then I usually add a little bit of yellow to brighten the scene up. And then I want to add a little bit of metallic fade on the two trash cans. And then a darker color around the edges. And then another pale blue on top to give it a little bit more light. And then I usually add an adjustment layer to make the whole scene more richer. Now, to bring in the Flash assets, each of these is also on a separate layer. See if they come in. Let me change the frame. So what we have here is we first have the water, which are broken up into two sequences. One is the front and one is the back, and they're faded between the two because the back one, once it loads, will be slightly blurred as well as the background, so it matches the background. And you just create a feather between the two masks, and that gets them to join up nicely. Just make sure that the feathering overlaps, like one is 200%, one's 250%, otherwise you get a little bit of a thin halo in between. Then I brought in the shadow from Flash as a separate layer and applied a blur to it. That's what I've been doing throughout the whole film. So I can animate my shadows and still let them have a bit of a blur. And then here's the character. And then one more. which is actually not important right now. It comes up later when she gets sucked in, yeah. And then usually what I do is then after I finish composing the whole shot, I apply two general effects to the whole thing, which I did show the last time. I'm going to just let this render quickly. One is a grain effect, which just gives it prevents banding and just gives it a little bit more of a coarser feel to the film. And then the other one's a diffusing effect that kind of makes it feel like you're it's a little bit more just diffuse, just helps it look a little bit better. And that's it. And this is the shot, and I'm going to play it one more time at the end of this, and hopefully next week I'll try to do another post and not be a day late. Have a good night.